So, what would you guys do if you guys were an Uber delivery Eats driver and you happen to be delivering an order, right? And the order that you happen to be delivering is to the one person you happen to admire, your favorite VTuber. Now, listen, I know this sounds crazy, but just imagine what if you met your favorite VTuber in real life? And it turns out she's a very, very tall, attractive woman who is not very good with people, and of all things, she needs your help because she wants to be better. She wants to be more outspoken, and she asks you for help. The only problem is you're just as a bit as awkward as her and don't have as much of experience. But because it's your favorite VTuber, you say yes. Well, that is what today's manga look is about. But before we start, right? Remember, guys, if you guys enjoy this type of content, leave a like, because that helps me out. Hit the subscribe button, helps your boy out too. And hit the notification bell if you want more of this type of content, manga looks, anime reviews through the shorts, and gaming content too on this channel. Your boy appreciates all of that. But yeah, let's get right to business. So, the manga that I was mentioning in the intro is called My Favorite VTuber is Scary in Real Life, or The Delivery Destination Onisan is Too Scary, right? Yeah, this manga is pretty good. So far, there's 3 volumes out, right? That have been dubbed, of course. And the chapters aren't relatively long. It's kind of like if you guys have read Komi-san, Tomo-chan is a boy, I think, right? Tomo-chan is a girl. It's sort of, the chapter length is sort of the same as those. This one is just about your favorite VTuber, right? So, let's jump right in. Chapter 1 starts with our protagonist, right? Like I said, working for a delivery eat app, and he ends up knocking on the door, and the door is opened by a very beautiful woman with two-tone hair, but she has a very scary look on her face, which catches our boy off guard, right? But he's tasked to deliver, so he says, "Hello, I'm the delivery eater," right? So she realizes that as she steps out, she's huge. She's tall, bro. Tall, but very intimidating. She's very attractive, too. I'm not gonna lie. She's definitely mommy material for some of you freaks out there. But, our boy is, like, shocked, and he's never had to deal with such a stern-looking woman before, because, like, out of all the deliveries, I guess our boy has delivered so far, she comes off as, like, the very, how do I say this, angry looking girl that you would expect in a lot of anime with a very goth look, right? And so he says he's scared to death. And as I mentioned before, his people skills are terrible. He's not great in all sense of the word, right? But so he just says, "I need to deliver this quickly and then get the hell out of here. Get out of Dodge," right? Because he looks at her eyes continuously. He's like, there's such murderous intent in her eyes, right? And he freaks the hell out, gives her the food, and he shouts in his mind, she's a really terrifying woman, and he says, "Thank you very much," leaving the tall Onisan, this tall, beautiful woman, sort of shocked, right? And he's panting, he's back at his bike, and he tells himself that he wants to switch to another courier. But he says in this godforsaken country, South Town, he's the only courier, meaning he can't fucking switch delivery paths. This is the only path he has, and he's the only delivery, right? And so he says in moments like these, he watches his favorite VTuber idol to calm down. Keep that in mind. Let's remember this, right? His favorite VTuber idol is named Fuwari-chan. She's he likes her natural, spontaneous demeanor, which apparently he can relate to this personality. right? And she's talking to people in chat. She looks like she's playing a Minecraft game, right? And everybody's like, "Is she AFK?" And then we hear it screaming in the background of the chat, "Know what happened to my house?" Right? And it says, "It's because of you. The house I've always dreamed of." So then Chad is starting to laugh, saying, "Lo lo lo, we're dying alone." So like, she's getting kind of bullied in chat. She starts laughing and then tells him to shut up, right? Which our boy here says that as he watches her, VTuber model grin, he says that it always gives her peace, and he hears the words "Hey friends" from her. We can already tell that the main guy is kind of a loner, right? Then we continue with him reacting, and he says, "Is there anything you want?" Someone in chat asks, "Is there anything you want to overcome?" Our VTuber idol, Fuwari, says that she wants to overcome her social anxiety that she experiences in real life. She's not good with people because she's shy, right? Um, so people online is like, "But Fuwari, you can talk to people online. Isn't that enough for you?" She says, "That's the only way I can speak freely. I can't be the only one like this, right?" And she says, "Well, to be frank, when I have people like you who struggle in real life to support me, how can I keep running away?" So she feels like she owes it to her audience to be to be more of a role model and be outspoken. Fantastic thought process, right? Very, very, very fantastic thought process. She then keeps going and she says, "I guess I want to be able to communicate in real life." Our boy here, the delivery guy, says, "Keep going for our and he's urging her on, right? And as he says that, he gets another delivery icon, as all Ubers do, and he says, "What again?" And it's from the same lady that he delivered to. And he asks himself, why did they call again? Just to complain? So he tells himself, well, if Fuwari-chan pushes herself hard, then he tells himself, how can I not try? So he ends up going back to the apartment building where the tall, beautiful, scary Onisan lives, and he ends up thinking to himself, I will deliver this order with a big smile on my face without running away. She's even waiting at the door, right? So as he knocks on the door, he sees that she's right in front of the door, which freaks him out, because he never expected that. He expects her to yell at him, saying, "Why were you so late?" and stuff, or weren't, because she gives off that vibe. She's very tall woman, very mean looking face. She gives off that vibe. Our protagonist doesn't know anything about her personally yet, right? But he sort of looks inside and says, "Damn it, bro, you can do this. Stop being a bitch. A bitch." He says, "Damn it, no running away. Communicate with a smile." And he says, "Hello, I'm from the Delivery Eater. Thank you for using our app." She stands there. He's very confused. So she begins to speak. She's like, as she speaks, her voice hits him. He recognizes it. Eh? This voice. No chance in hell. She says, "Oh, Our boy's realizing something, right?" He's like, "Fuwari, Chad." She says, "Thank you so much for your time." As he looks at her, he sees Fuwari Chan's avatar on the side because he recognizes that they share the same voice, which he didn't realize at the beginning when he first delivered to her because he ran away. He didn't get to hear her voice at all, right? So, as our boy's shocked, and he says, "The terrifying giant lady is actually my favorite idol." What is it? What are the odds, right? And that's chapter 1. He finds out that his favorite idol, right, Fuwari-chan, is this tall, very beautiful woman who is very shy, right? Granted, that's the end of chapter 1. Like I said, these chapters are very short. Chapter 2, which I'm going to cover the first 2 chapters so you guys can get a better idea of this. Chapter 2 continues off with this is still chapter 1. It's just continuous. She sighs and she says, after the delivery, There's a little sign calling her hikikomori. She says she was so nervous. It's been so long since she last spoke to someone, but she says she's glad she was able to thank him for always doing the delivery very so kindly. And she continues to talk to herself. I actually want to talk a lot more, but I did all I could. I should eat first with a very cute face. Like, she's very cute despite the the struggle she has. So we get introduced to her as Fuwari, her VTuber name, has at least 5 meals a day. She eats a lot. Considering her height, that makes sense. She's probably taller than your average Japanese girl and Japanese man. I'm guessing she's around 6 foot or so, So it makes sense she'd eat a lot more than your average, right? We then continue. We jump back to our boy who says, "Recently, I started working part time on the delivery app, but he tells himself that the lady I'm delivering to is really terrifyingly huge." As he looks down from below, he can see her boobs and her very imposing face. Like, she's a huge woman. And he says, "Delivery eaters." He looks at her and he says, "She's glaring for some reason. Is it because of what happened last time? I'm still avoiding her because of how much she looks like Fuwari-chan, his favorite VTuber, as it references in the in the thing." He then thinks, but could she actually be Fuwari-chan? She then leans more forward at him, which freaks him out, and he ends up thinking that she thinks you're disgusting, and he freaks out, saying, I'm definitely confusing her for someone else, right? Because his brain is full of anxiety. He wants to go watch Fuwari-chan to ease himself, and he says, as he's running away, he says, "Thank you for choosing us," but our girl, the actual Fuwari, grabs him, and he realizes how strong she is. He thinks he's gonna get murdered. A boy is not, like I said, he's not good with women at all, and he's not good with these situations. He's just as awkward, right? And so she says, "Oni-san, there isn't anyone else," and then he thinks to himself, "Wait, it really is Fuwari's voice. I'm bad with people, and I have difficulty talking," which our boy then remembers what Fuwari said during her stream. She said, "I've started buying my groceries online because I haven't been face to face with someone for a good while." But she then tells him that she was so happy when he smiled at her the last time. You know what I mean? It's kind of cute, really. So then she starts saying, "They always put a piece of paper underneath the food when delivering so it doesn't get dirty, and the lunchbox is staying intact, and it's always really fast." She's freaking out as she's complimenting him. She's like, "Oh, she's talking real fast." And so our boy thinks, "I see now. This Oni-san wasn't angry or mad at me. She was just looking for a chance to talk to me. She's doing her best, just like Fuwari-chan." Again, he still doesn't know 100% sure she's Fuwari, but he's comparing her to her. And she said, "Oni-san, I thought I could try my best in the real world with you." Also, it sounds like she's confessing to her boy, and he looks at her and he's like, "Is she trying to overcome something she's bad at? It doesn't matter if this person is not Fuwari-chan. I must support her determination." Because at the end of the day, our male protagonist is a pretty good dude, right? He wants to help her. So he says, "I was just thinking, Oni-san, could you speak with me? I'll pay you whatever you want." So she basically says that she's going to pay for just having conversations with him. This kind of also shows Japan's problems with people connecting together, especially when they not only overwork their people, because they work like, I think, 6 days a week, 10 hours or some shit, ridiculous times, so they don't have time to interact with people. Then even at work they can't interact as much because they're focused on working, and all that stuff compiles on top of the fact that a lot of people separate girls and boys in schools, which I'm not a big proponent of, because I think when you separate boys and girls like that at a young age, it makes it harder for boys and girls to know how to interact with each other later on. It's always good to have your children interact with people of all diversities and stuff, because it allows them to learn and socialize, right? All of that stuff compiles, and I think this manga does a good job at sort of showing that issue and showing it with this problem with this tall girl and this young boy, right? Or he's not young, he's in college, but you get the point. He freaks out and he says, "How did it come to this?" I agree under the pressure of the moment. He agreed to talk to her, and so that's how the story starts, right? Our boy basically became our main girl's uh our main girl's social person to talk to. And so the manga just follows the journey between our main protagonist, the delivery guy. We actually don't know his name, and the VTuber Fuwari, right? And them growing closer, him helping her out with her social anxiety, and him also breaking out of his shell. They're kind of helping each other out in this sense. It's a really wholesome story, and what makes it better is that they slowly realize the feelings they have for each other goes a lot more deeper than just like this service he talks to her, she gives him money, or friends. They start to slowly realize a little bit more here or there. Of course, there's only like 18 chapters because there's only 3 volumes, but I think it's a really good read. You guys can go read it in Manga Dex, and there's, I think, actual English volumes out. And if there is, I'll put that in the description for you guys so you guys can buy the volumes and stuff and go out to read. But you can read these mangas on Manga Dex if you guys want to read it through there, or Kodansha, or whatever. It's available in a lot of manga reading apps. So yeah, that's this manga. That is my favorite VTuber is Scary in Real Life. It's a really good manga. It's very cute. You can easily read this in a day and catch up. It came out in 2023. It's a really good story by Yorimiya Rio. So I suggest you guys all check it out. And tell me down below in the comments what you guys thought about it, if you guys did read it, or what you guys think about it just from listening to me explain the first chapter or two. You know what I mean? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, guys, thank you guys for watching, and adios.